Will Hamas give up its weapons? Greg, I want to start with you on that. Do you think they will? Because that's surely integral to progress on other areas.
It is. It affects every other area of this deal. It affects the extent of Israel's withdrawal from Gaza. It affects, I think, the prospects for reconstruction in Gaza. I think the short answer to whether they will give up their weapons is no, they won't. I think they will be willing, perhaps, to make some concessions around their weapons. It's not going to give up lighter arms. It wants to keep its rifles and things like that. And I think it has several reasons for doing that. One is ideological. Its whole identity is based on being an armed resistance movement. If it gives up the armed part of that, it's not clear what Hamas is anymore. So there's that ideological piece. And then I think for some of the rank and file members of Hamas in Gaza, there's a personal piece to this as well. They are very unpopular right now in Gaza. Many people are furious with Hamas for dragging the territory into this war over the past 2 years. And I think there's a concern amongst some of the Hamas fighters in Gaza that there are going to be reprisals. Once the war ends, once the ceasefire really sets in, they're worried about what might happen to them, to their own personal safety in Gaza.
Charlotte, this will be President Trump's deal. And you rightly earlier in the show, raised a question about his, not just his attention to detail, but his staying power on these things. Do you think it is going to change American public opinion of Israel and thus provide a domestic reason for President Trump to stick to it?
I actually think that the shifting public opinion toward Israel within the United States is something that will advance this process rather than limit it, because the hug that President Trump is giving Israel is sort of like the hug of a boa constrictor. He can squeeze now, and they know that. And I think that's fundamentally different from prior administrations.
What actually will that mean on the ground in Gaza? I know you've been a number of times during this war. I think you were last there on Friday. The sense of devastation is extraordinary. How quickly, with a lot of aid coming in, will and can conditions improve dramatically for Gazans on the ground?
Well, it's hard to exaggerate the level of devastation in Gaza. I mean, the numbers speak of estimated almost 80% of buildings which have been badly damaged. Whatever direction you go into Gaza, and you can only go into Gaza nowadays on embeds with the IDF. I was on one on Friday morning, but whatever direction you go in, the towns, the suburbs, the neighborhoods close to the border with Israel have all been obliterated. They're totally flattened. It's a lunarscape of rubble, dust, and sand. That's all that's left there.